How's it going, everybody? Welcome to the channel. This is Big Day Dave, and this is my top 5 maps by continent series. This is number 4 of the series for the continent North America. And why did I want to make this series? Well, I wanted to recognize more maps, as there were so many good maps out there that I just couldn't get to in my top 10 video. I just wanted to make sure that the maps that were out there that didn't make that cut at least got some attention, some love, because like I said, there's so many good ones out there that you can't just make a single top 10 or a single whatever. You have to kind of diversify. And reason why I'm doing it this way is that it forces me to compartmentalize each map into its own general region and allows some of those maps that just missed the cut in that top 10 to kind of be able to rise to the top of those compartmentalized continent brackets that I'm kind of putting in place. So that's kind of the thought process behind it as to why I wanted to do it, and so on and so forth. How did I go about doing this? Well, I took a look at every single map available for all consoles. And what I ended up doing was going through and reading the description for every single map. And if the map description specifically said anything regarding the state, the country, the location, anything that was specific about its location, I went ahead and just plopped it into the continent that it belonged to. I even took those maps where it says, imagined for such and such region. So it was, loosely based off of, or whatever the case may be. If it made some kind of indication of it being made for a specific region, that's where it went. I also, if I wasn't able to find somewhere in the description that would identify its location, I then looked at the photos within the mod hub and use those to try and deduce where it could be. So I use flags or any kind of other identifying marker that was available to be able to try and define where these items were, where these maps were. And finally, if I wasn't able to figure out based on the description, the photos, anything along those lines, I then took those maps that just kind of fell through the defining system that I had developed and made their own category of unspecified. And that will be after all the continents have been recorded and edited and all that stuff. I'll make another video for those maps as well, so those maps will also have their chance to see the spotlight. So we're going to start with number 5, Stone Valley 22. And as you can see here, this is Stone Valley 22. And right away, this map is probably the most, if not one of the most unique North American maps by far. I can only think of one other map that does something similar to what this map does, and that's Edgewater, Saskatchewan. And Stone Valley 22, as you can see, has all these, let me backtrack. Most North American style maps are large, square, just very, very, big equipment, big fields, very very AI worker friendly, and the whole 9 yards. It's purpose built for this game, I feel like. And the problem is that then you get a map like this, and I shouldn't say it's a problem, it's not a problem, but then you get a map like this, and this map has all these kind of canals, like you can see up here. These are little drainage ditches and cutoffs, and this field number 5 here, that's all one field, but it's broken up into 4 separate sections for one field. Almost no map does this, almost none. And this is one of the first that I can ever think of that really kind of took a map from North America, from where I'm from, and actually like made it to where it was very compartmentalized, and you had to actually like not be so reliant on workers. You had to do the work. And these fields, you have to do the work. There's only a few fields. I can see 1, 2, maybe 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 of the however many fields are on here that you could get away with hiring a worker and just let it just do its thing. Potentially. There may be some obstructions around the edges of fields or something like that, but for the most part, you should be able to be worker friendly on those kind of squared off fields. It's a breath of fresh air that this map has this, because it's such a distinctive feature, and that you see in almost every single European map or South American map. You don't see large square fields for the most part. Like South America does have its big square fields, because they got a lot of wide open spaces for their farms, but like you look at European maps for contrast, you tend to have small, odd shaped, like they're just being squeezed into such a tight space that they just using whatever they have. In American maps, it's wide open, it's huge, their farms are massive, and this one just is such a unique looking map. But let's take a look at this. So the starting farm, you can see Stone Valley Farm, so cool. Hop over here, and the starting farm itself is not too large for the most part. I mean, it's got enough storage for you to do things, but what's really cool about this is that it also kind of has its own little unique story. You can see half of your farm or half of your field is harvested, and it's like they were halfway in the middle of harvesting and all of a sudden just stopped. Like you're just here now. You can do a lot of role playing with this. I've seen some people do role playing where they used the excuse that the former farmer was your uncle and they ended up getting arrested, kind of thing. It just offers like just that little dynamic ability to just kind of play it up and make something of it. And it's just a cool little feature. But let's take a look around the map here. You can see here. Let's go up to here. Better Earth. It's just a nice little layout for this particular area. This is like the animal dealer and all this stuff. You've got just very large, wide open areas. But with that large, wide open areas, you've got those little issues to deal with. The river systems and all that. You can see this one here. Large soybean field right here is huge, and it's not just a flat map. That's the other thing that's really huge about this map compared to most North American farms and North American maps, I should say, is that I can't say most, but a good chunk of maps for North America are just flat, so flat. You don't get any kind of undulation, and you don't get like any kind of breaking of the sight lines. Like you do get a wide sight line here, but if I turn around, all of a sudden it's gone. You can actually have undulations. You can actually see like hills and swoops and the whole 9 yards, and it just offers just that much more of, I don't want to say immersion, but just more visual appeal, as opposed to just a stock flat map. And now there are areas in this country that are just really flat. You go out to the middle of the country and it's just flat, nothing. And it makes sense for those kind of farms and whatnot to be, flat. But it's very rare when you get an American style map where it's not just flat. It's really, really rare. But then you go around even further, you go to one of your secondary farms. This is where the sheep barn is, and it's just a completely different look and feel to the first farm we were at. And that's really cool in my opinion, because you don't get that kind of uniformity style that which you wouldn't, at least in this country, you wouldn't expect to see that. You wouldn't expect to see, this kind of overarching style that sometimes plays out in other maps, especially in European style maps. I've noticed is that you get these, farms that maybe set up differently, but for the most part kind of look the same. And from what I understand, and I could be wrong about this, please correct me in the comments, but that's oftentimes due to regulations from the local governments that say, hey, you have to have these kind of standards of how the property is maintained, how it looks. And often it's because a lot of these places are very, very old, and they want to have, especially like local villages will have like their own set of guidelines to keep the kind of aesthetics the way they are. We're here at another farm here, and you can see that it's like somewhat the same. You got similar kind of buildings and whatnot, but you do get some kind of differences here. You got the kind of farmhouse right up in front, the pig barn, the whole 9 yards, and it's all kind of just different. It's not identical to everything else on the map. You got these big, massive facilities here for your sell points. Just massive silo structures and holding bins. You've got some other smaller facilities, but still relatively large. Around here you got your grain mill right here with another selling facility. You've got your store, again, another large kind of area here. And that's just kind of a running theme in North American maps, is large. Everything is very, very large. So it's just, long story short, this has all the elements of a really good map by itself, but then you throw in all those kind of distinctive features that are on so few maps in North American style. And that is why this one is number 5 on the list. Number 4, Griffin, Indiana 22. And this is what Griffin, Indiana 22 looks like. And as you can see, very stereotypical North American, especially the United States style map. You've got very large fields for the most part, and for the most part, relatively square. Very, very worker friendly. There's a few exceptions on this map. You do have like field 1 down here with this kind of tail down here in this field. You've got these kind of swoops on this side over here where the forest is. But for the most part, large and square, large and square, large and square. It's, again, generally, it's one of those kind of universal things in this country that, farms tend to be just very large, and their fields tend to be very, very square. They just take up the most space they can because they can produce the most kind of yield. But this is what the map looks like, and it's a brilliant map. This is so good. Griffin, Indiana, you can see, welcome to Griffin. Population was 143. That's a tiny town. I grew up in a small town as well, and it had a few thousand people. So I can only imagine living in a town with a few hundred. That's pretty cool. Anyways, you start out here walking the street. You can see coming right through the town at the bowling alley. The color palette on this is fantastic. Like, this is Griffin, Indiana. I grew up in Michigan. It's a stone's throw away from each other, and this is without a doubt very representative of a rural Midwestern town. Very much so. You'll occasionally get large buildings for the agriculture and things like that, and trains, and some population dense areas like the little towns that you get here. Like, it's just very, very much what you could expect to see in a small town in the middle of middle America. And just the details of this town. You got what looks to be like City Hall right here. You've got the large church. You've got the shops and the sell points. all throughout the area here. And if we go back to the map and we check out the main farm over here, let's go ahead and go here. It's a incredibly, like, for a North American style farm, it's relatively small, the farm itself. You've got a barn here, a little silo system, fermenting system, some storage over here, but that's really about it. I mean, you get a little workshop, but that's it. I mean, it's, you got some room. I mean, you got plenty of room. I mean, you look here, this is your backyard over here. This is nice and overlooks the fields and all this from the hilltop. And again, this is another map. Another reason why I like this map is the undulations here in the north. You got plenty of kind of swoop here in the north, and it kind of flattens out the more you get towards the road and the highway over in that direction. It's, again, very, very good job of representing what a actual location is. And this is, from what I understand, based off a real life location. Griffin, Indiana is a real place, and I think this is like actually based off of satellite images. For the most part, you can see how all this outskirt here is like a satellite photo. So I think all this is kind of just interlaced into and over top of what the satellite photo would be. So you've got like real roads and all that. So it's very nice. Like, they did an amazing job on this map. The map maker did an amazing job. And yeah, it's got a fair bit of colors. You got the oranges and the whites and the yellows, but again, not enough to be like, okay, it's too cartoony kind of thing. Because again, I grew up in the Midwest, and these kind of colors are fairly common in flowers, like especially wildflowers, in the area I grew up in. So I could see that these would be, in the realm of possibility. When you start getting multiple colors, like all these plus reds plus purples plus blues plus all this stuff, then it starts to look too much and too cartoony, in my opinion. But it's just one of those, like, again, just a very, very well developed map. You've got a lot of kind of cool features. You got this little bridge from a waterway that separates the fields, but it doesn't cut through the fields. So the last map I showed was Stone Valley, and you can see the huge difference between the way that the fields on Stone Valley is set up versus the way this is set up. The fields here are solid. They're all one. You got little, like, I don't want to call them outcrows, but they're just little shoots and runoffs of the field kind of thing that offer just a little bit of difficulty, quote unquote, but not like Stone Valley. You can see there's a huge difference. There is a little obstruction here. That's a little oil well that's right there. But for the most part, this is just a solid map. Great map. It's definitely deserves the number 4 spot on this list. Number 3, Iowa Plains View. And this is what the map looks like. And again, stereotypical American style map. You can see that it's got massive fields. They're relatively square. Some angles and stuff, but not anything where you couldn't easily hire a worker and just turn them loose. It's very rare that you would not be able to just set a worker off and just have them do the vast majority of the fields. But this map has so many features, so many things up its sleeve that makes it a gem, in my opinion. Number 1 feature, look at this starting farm. This is huge. You got this massive silo system, nice house on the hillside right behind me here. You got some base animals right at the very start of the farm. Plenty of storage for the most part. You're going to have to possibly expand as you continue to go forward, but very, very nice. And you have this kind of split level of your farm. So running across the street here check it out. You've got your cow barn right here, a hayloft, a bunker silo, another storage, more storage, and a giant, massive pig barn. Another feature that's available on this map, you can see it has alfalfa and clovers as an additional crop type. So a couple of different grass types that you can add to this map, which is amazing. You start out with a ton of the map right off the very get-go. Pretty much the whole northeast corner is all yours. Now if we come into town here, we'll go right here to the vehicle shop. Large John Deere dealership right here. Tons of area to kind of, get your fleet and get them ready to work for you. But then you come into the town itself, and you've got so much going on here. You got the store sell point here. You've got the oils factory right here. And again, one thing that I absolutely love is that when map makers use the kind of base game buildings, if they use base game buildings, then they, in my opinion, should do whatever they can to add decoration and kind of distract from that baseness. And that's exactly what this is. You've got not only base game stuff, but then you've got new production points as well, like this one, popcorn factory, where you can take corn and butter and make popcorn. You can make plain popcorn, and salt. That's something else too, is that there's additional items that you need for your productions, like sea salt, like transformer oil, like oregano. It's like so much is going on. And then you keep on going down. You've got the the sugar mill right there. You've got across the street the diner. This is like the penultimate, like the absolute best. That might have been the wrong term, penultimate, but the biggest thing that you're building up to is this, the diner. You've got so many different production chains, and that can then feed into the diner, where you can get paid an exorbitant amount for all of your items that you produce. You got a bakery right here. You've got the pizzeria right here, where again, if you go in and you purchase oregano as one of the ingredients, you then take that to here and you can produce pizzas. You've got over here, you got the waffles and pancakes. You got the cakery. So the bakery just does things like breads and I believe cornbread as well. But over here, you got the cakery that's just for cakes. You got your ketchup. Yeah, I mean, you got so much going on here. You've got French fries. You've got what else is over here? Oh, what's this one here? Oh, that's the tailor shop, and you got the spinnery right next door. So I mean, you've got so much to be able to do. But then you look around, and you've got all this, and again, very, very flat at some points. But if we look around, you can start to see, hey, there's some undulation. If I can zoom in, there you go. You can see there's actual elevation changes, and it's very, very nice. You got this little river that runs through the center of the map that feeds this little mill right here, so you can actually make your flour using this mill right here, which is really cool. And it's got that animated water mill. Let's see what else is around here. If we go back to the map here, we got this gorgeous kind of restaurant sell point right here. So you got all this going on right here. Looks like they're just getting ready to open up, maybe. You've got a really cool kind of sawmill carpentry area down. Why can't I click on anything? There we go. Carpentry and sawmill. So it looks like just a standard sawmill over here, but then you've got this big carpentry, and it's all just kind of one location. You're not having to go one place for the sawmill and then halfway across the map for the carpentry. Down here you got the animal dealer that's all kind of just tucked away back here. Again, just anytime that map makers can get away from standard buildings and use things like these massive silo systems and train systems, because there is a train that runs through here. If we keep going down here, we've got the biogas plant, which is, you know, a pretty decent sized biogas plant, but right next door. So the biogas plant will not only produce digestate, but it will produce methane. So you can take the methane and bring it over to this. This is the power plant, and you take the methane and transformer oil. You have to purchase that, and you can produce electricity, and then you can sell off the electricity. It's just, there's so many cool little production jumps and links in the chain that is just very, very, very nice, and it offers just that much more items to work with. You've got another sell point here, which is, again, very nice sell point. You got a little farm right here. You got the trees, the driveway that just wraps around. Like, this is cool. This driveway that just kind of is a big wrap around and then leads back to our starting farm. Just an amazing map. I did a series on this map, a Let's Play series, and loved every minute of it. It was such a fun map to play on. But that is why this is number 3. Number 2, Goldcrest Valley 22. And this is what the map looks like. And again, very typical North American, America style, your USA style map. Big fields, square, easy for workers, just very, very nice. But this map is also created by the same map maker as the number 3 map was. Celebuki makes both Goldcrest Valley 22 and Iowa Plains View. And whew, all the things I said to the previous map apply to this map as well. But again, this one, palette, amazing. The elevation changes. This one kind of appears to be more maybe based somewhere in maybe the Appalachian Mountain region, or potentially kind of well, I wouldn't say necessarily the Rockies, but you know, kind of you've got the big hilly northern part of the map and kind of the flatter part of the southern portion of the map. But you also got big mountains in the background, so it's just one of those. And it's got a massive starting farm. Well, I shouldn't say massive, but it's pretty large. It's sprawled out very, very well. You've got three fields to start out with. You've got the bunch of canopy areas where you can store some of your starting equipment. You got your main house here, chickens right off the bat. You got a sell point for hay and straw right on your front door, right over here. It's just all sorts of really awesome stuff. A really nice silo system with a ramp right over here, some more storage on the back side of the property. But then we just continue on. Like, this map has, I think the reason why this map kind of beat out the last map, the Iowa Plains, is because this not only has all the same features as the Iowa Plains, but it also has the nostalgia factor. The Goldcrest Valley 22, I fell in love with when I first started playing this game on FS19, so it had that nostalgia factor, and it also kind of integrated a lot of the new features from 22 into the game and made it to where it was like really, really kind of a leap forward from the 19 version. But if we take a look at the map, let's go right here. First off, I want to show this, like the big water feature right over here. Like, this is really cool. Just this giant kind of lake leading into a stream and rivers. Like, it's gorgeous. You got a giant power plant, like a hydroelectric plant just over there. That is a part of the production chains, similar to like what was on the last map. You've also got all these you got your ketchups and your pancakes, popcorn, just like the last map. Just like the last map. You got your starting shop right here, or not your starting shop, but the shop that's right here. And one key feature that's on this map that is not on too many other maps is you've got two separate trains going around the map, and the trains will, like specifically the western train, will deliver to this cell point right here. But other than that, the trains just pretty much go around and around in a circle. But the coolest, and I think the big key feature on this map, was this here, is you've got this specific transfer silo onto your train, and you could load into the transfer silo right here. You can load into it, and either train can come in to this station and take out of that silo. That was one of the kind of key features on this map, was this here, and it's just such a cool concept, such a cool idea. And it might sound silly to some. It's like, oh, well, it's just a silo system, but no, this is like, this was something that you really didn't see too much of, and when you got to see it, it was like, oh, well, that's really cool. Now it's probably not that cool anymore. Oh, and you can actually see the hydro plant right on top of the hill right over there. That's, you know what, let's go ahead and go there next. Let's go to that power station. Check that out. Very, very cool. Very awesome. Love it. Just little features like that just really set this map apart and make it kind of jump into the FS22 series. Because this is actually a production point. You can actually produce something here. Using the methane from the biogas plant, you bring it over just like the last one, and some not transmission. What was it called again? Transformer oil. So you'd have the transformer oil, and you bring that over as well as the methane, and you produce energy, power. What else? We got the really kind of out of the way sell points that you have over here. So you got like the Wright's agriculture. You also got is this Mary's down here? No, not that one. Mary's farm. Yes. You got Mary's farm, and each one of the kind of corner sell points also sells, or you can purchase manure in one and slurry in the other. You got the big animal dealer just tucked away over here. It's just such a really cool map, and you've got so many really nice looking features. It's just, yeah, this is a really, really good map. And the color palette is really toned down. You don't get a lot of colors, and I think a lot of that has to do because it's supposed to be like kind of mountainous region, so you are not getting as many wildflowers as you did in Iowa Plains. You get more of that kind of pine tree, like very, very pine heavy kind of presence. You're not seeing a whole lot of other types of trees, but you can see a nice little river system that cuts right through the southern portion of the map that leads all the way back to that lake that we first saw. Got the big mountains in the background. So yeah, this is just a sight. It's got so many cool little spots that really kind of set this map apart. But that is why this one's number 2. And now we have our number 1 map, Westbridge Hills 22. And this is what the map looks like. Again, typical North American, large fields, very square, not much like nooks and crannies for the most part. Very worker friendly. Just, yeah, it's a very good representation of a North American style map. And again, you've got all the undulations. You can see here just how much sweep and hills and terrain you actually are dealing with. It's not a straight flat map, which are, again, kind of, to me, I need things that kind of break up the sight lines, and this one just really does a good job. And it's a gentle sweep. It's not like, you know, a very hilly, mountainous kind of area. And with Westbridge Hills 22, the iconic red house, the icon, like this thing has been in, you know, every version of Westbridge Hills 22, and I love it. I absolutely love it. Now, Westbridge Hills 22 is created by Zero Ito. Again, one of my favorite, if not my favorite, one of my favorite map makers, because you get so much detail, so much detail. Now, if we come over here, you can see how the rest of the farm is tucked into this little valley. That's a cool little feature right there. You come into here and you've got tons of storage, you know, plenty of barn space. You've got actual workable barn storage over here. You got chicken barn that matches the rest of the buildings, the bright red, you know, buildings here. You got a little sheep pen just tucked away over here. Again, you got the matching red roof on top here. You got some more storage, a big red barn, a little silo system over here, another large red barn. Like, just the red is off the charts. And then right in the middle, all this stuff we've been showing is circled around the iconic trees right in the middle of the yard. Just absolutely, like, every single edition I've ever seen has this as like a key prominent feature. It's right in the middle of everything. You always have to go around it. It's just so cool. Now, one thing that this map does have is another cool feature are these kind of entryways right here with the signage. Iron Ranch. Just, like, look at that. Just look at that farm. Like, that from here, it just looks amazing. But then we go around the rest of the map. So, starting first, the vehicle shop. Large vehicle shop. Truck in the parking lot. That is my truck. But you got the big case Steiger right there inside the showroom. Big Magnum in the other end. Like, that's really cool. Just really nice. Got the cutouts and the pictures, like, just all those details, the boxes up at the top there. No reason for them to be there, but they're there, and that's what Zero Ito does, is that they just put in those details that really make you, like, immersed in the setting that you're in. We go over to the sky view right over here. You can hear the windmill right there just creaking along. Now, I think that they got this little water feature for these. I don't know if the water feature actually works in this, but if it does, great. But again, you got the waving American flag, the cars, the big little the Deutz Fahr harvester right in the backyard there, just hanging out. Like, it makes it feel like there's more farmers in the area than just you. You know, it's just so cool. We keep on moving along. Let's go right here to the dairy. The dairy is all custom. You do got the kind of basic dairy building right here, but it's built out with so much other stuff around it that makes it feel original, not basic, not a part of the base game map kind of, or base game kind of stuff. And absolutely love it. Just one of those that, again, you take something that's originally there, and then you just add to it and make it bigger, better, and all that. And you can see how they took the building right here and just kind of turned it, you know, maybe what, 180 degrees, 90 degrees, yeah, 90 degrees, and just built it here. So you got like two of the same building, but now it actually looks unique and different. You got a bunch of tanker trucks, you know, right here that's gonna haul the milk around. You've got big tanks. Like, just little features like that is just amazing. Now we're gonna come over here because this part of the map is just iconic. Another iconic part of the map. Oh, am I gonna be able to get over this wall? I don't think I can. Oh, I can go over here. Check it out. You got a little drive-through right here. Like, how cool is that? Or drive-in, not drive-through, drive-in. You know, you've got the little movie board that's right over here. What does this say? Jet Set Farming, The Rise of the Harvester 4. Running out of taters. Dun dun dun. Just silly little things like that. And then over here, let's see. Let me make sure I'm heading in the right direction. Yes. So up here, cut through the woods here, and you can see another iconic scene. The campgrounds. Like, look at all the details that are here. The tents, the RVs, the pop-up trailers, the trucks, like, not trucks, but campers. That's the word I'm looking for, campers. Like, and you got the little picnic area. Like, just all the detail that's here makes it feel legit and so much more immersive. Then you keep going. Red Marble Bowling. Well, we're all used to seeing Red Marble Bowling. It was in, base game and all that, but look at all the planter boxes and the stone wall on the outside. Like, they take the basic premise of the building and then just add it to make it their own. You got the parking lot full of people. Let's keep going. They got a train system right here on the map. They got oh, that's something else here. The little seed and fertilizer buy points that are placed throughout the map. Seed, lime, and fertilizer. That's it. Let's go into town right over here. Like, look at all this. I'm gonna be trapped in here, aren't I? Jump. There we go. Oh, gas station. 080 and their gas stations. They do an amazing job because they actually make it look like there's stuff going on. You got traffic that'll actually flow through the carports here and make it look like they're filling up. You got the grocery store right here, and look at how packed and so much stuff is going on. It makes it look like it's alive. You've got the kind of water park over here, not water park, but just the park over here. A couple of cannons with the, what is that, like a gazelle maybe, a statue. I mean, just all sorts of stuff going on here. Big water tower. You got several houses in town here. A little, what looks like a motel right here. Just all this stuff just adds up to just an amazing immersive map. You got your bakery that's tucked away in here. Again, it looks like the basic building, but you've got kind of everything kind of coordinated off with fencing. You got the parking lot, and it just makes it feel real. Got the big giant town hall building right here. It looks like that would be like town hall, city hall kind of thing. And then you start moving your way out to the outskirts. You've got the Redford Park, the baseball park that we're used to seeing, but it's all just kind of really tucked in here just nice enough to where it just makes it feel like it's its own and unique. You got a little parking lot for it over here, a house right across the street with a tractor in the driveway coming down the street here. Now, this is one of my favorite features on any map. Any map maker that does this is yes, more of this. Live cows and animals at the animal dealership. Amazing. I love this as a feature, and that is a huge bonus. But you also have a place to buy liquid slurry and manure. But you also have this like unique area back here where you can sell products and buy things like TMR and mineral feed and pig food. And again, you've got this cool little mixing auger, mixing wagon back here. That's where you're gonna like get your product from. Like, that's so cool. Like, this map, they did such an amazing job on bringing this into the latest version of the game. Again, big monster facilities here for a selling point over here. Then you got this. This is kind of what sold me on this map, was like this area here and the other one that we're going to show next. But this is like the kind of industrial park, at least one of them. And you can see just how it's all kind of coordinated off behind the walls. But then you can go in here and you can see the oil mills tucked in here with all these giant massive buildings in the background, a cereal factory, the sugar mill. You got the grape processing unit right here. But again, it's not like yeah, they're all the base game buildings. Like, that's base game, that's base game, base game. But with all the additional decorations, it makes it look unique. And you got other buildings that are kind of, squunched up against these buildings here, and it makes it not look like the original building, kind of thing. It's a simple little thing, but it makes it so much nicer. And again, same thing here. You got another industrial park kind of area here where you've got all this stuff. You got the spinnery, you got a sell point right here, a lime buy point. Was it? No, right here. Yeah, lime buy point right there. And yeah, just all this stuff that's going on here. You got so much. And then finally, we come down to the southern portion of the map where you see you got a little cow barn right here. Now again, this looks basic and from the base game kind of thing. I shouldn't say basic, from the base game, because it is. You got a manure heap right next to it and a liquid slurry tank there. But you got some additional storage, a bunker silo, all this stuff. It's just, having played the FS19 version of Westbridge 22 and then coming out to this and playing this version of it, just all the detail and all the extras that were packed into this map is just astonishing. Like, we go back to but we go to the biogas plant, and you can see just how tight everything is here, which is very unusual for an American style map. But there are areas that you need to drive carefully. You need to not have the biggest equipment. You can see here, like, this is where you load into your into your fermenters, or not fermenter, your not, is it digester? No, I'm just drawing a blank. But one more key feature, not even key feature, but one more feature that I like to show off is this right here. This is just a place to sell your stones, but there's this whole kind of platform built around the debris crusher. You can come here, back your trailers or whatever, and dump into the top of it. Such a cool feature. I love it when, again, another thing I love when map makers do is make it to where you don't have to, like with the debris crusher. The one thing I don't necessarily like about the debris crusher is it's got 2 points of being able to put items into it. You got the one input there and another input right on top. Well, it drives me nuts to put it here. I know it's there for a convenience kind of thing, but I love that Zero Ito made this ramp to be able to easily dump a trailer into it and make it actually look like it's intaking the stones and doing more than just, acting as a gate kind of thing, because that's essentially what the sell point is a gate to where it's going to trigger, you getting money for a product kind of thing. But yeah, long story short, I'll stop rambling at this point, but just so much detail. You got the oil rig pumps back there. Just so much going on in this map. I absolutely adore this map, and all that said and done is why this is number one. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, please show me by liking, sharing, subscribing, following, commenting, doing all the things the algorithms enjoy you doing. That shows you're engaged with this channel, enjoying the content. And that being said, I hope you have a fantastic day. Take care.